Prapannaparijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Gyanamudraya Krishnaya Geeta Amrutaduhe Namaha. Om. Dear friends, we are seeing this Gita. We are in the second chapter, that is Sankhya Yoga. In the last episode, we have just seen what exactly is the karma. We have seen earlier that Krishna had talked about the nature of Atma, the nature of what is that supreme reality, what is called supreme reality, in other words Brahma, and what is this Atma which is all pervading. Atma means the same Atma, the same consciousness which is reflecting in a Jiva is called Atma, we call it Atma, and this Atma is not different from that supreme reality called Brahma. So that also we saw, and then he shifted the topic to Loka Drushti. From the practical point of view, what will people think of you? He told that. And then again he came to the question of karma. So we are in this particular say verse 39 of second chapter. I am not reading every shloka. I am just skipping many shlokas, but somewhere some important shloka I am reading. So he, in this particular shloka, he said, I am now telling you the karma yoga by which you will get rid of the result of karma. So that is what he said, karma bandham prahasyasi, you will be out of the bondage of karma. So that is what he said. So then we were trying to know what is this karma and what is this bondage, etc. So I explained to you in the last episode that there are 4 types of karma. That is, the management of human action is so big, it is a big worry for all the religious leaders, for all the people who either start a new religion, or who are people who write dharma shastras, etc. So this is a big task. So that is why there are certain things which are mentioned as do's and don'ts. You have to do this, you should not do this. That is nitya. Nitya we called it. Nitya in the sense that is something which is mandatory. Then naimittika, depending on some nimitta, depending on some occasion. Nimitta means occasion. What is the nimittam we say? Nimitta is occasion. Depending on an occasion, it may be a marriage, it may be some other function, it may be the birth of a child, or it may be something like the Upanayanam ceremony. So like that in the human life, there are so many rituals. So there are certain things which are, that again is compulsory. Then again some desire driven activity. Desire driven activity means I want to perform some great act. Some of the people in olden days, they used to perform all these yajnas. We hear about a king performing some Rajasuya yagam. Another man performs some other Ashwamedha yaga. So like that there are so many things which are desire oriented. He wants to attain heaven, he wants to attain power. So all these things. Then again there are certain prohibited karmas, that is Nishiddha karma. So in this way we have these 4 categories, Nitya, Naimittika, Kamya, that is desire driven, and Nishiddha karma, which is a prohibited say thing. Then the general rule is that every karma gives a result. Karma has to necessarily give a result. Of course, Nitya karma does not give any specific result. The benefit from that is that if you don't do that, you will get some minus marks. So Nitya karma is something like a spiritual toning up. For toning up of our body, we do some exercise. We get up in the morning or sometime in the evening, sometime during day. Most of us, we do some exercise. So that is for physical toning up of the body. For toning up of our, not only our mind, toning up of our ethical say self. This ethical self, that is again important. So that is what is talked about in what is called sadhana, spiritual sadhana. In a spiritual pursuit, what is the training you are giving to your mind? The mind is a storehouse of so many things. That is kamaha, sankalpaha, vichikitsa. There are so many desires are there, so many ambitions are there, so many other things like love, hate, etc. Fear, love, hate, fear, anger. There are so many emotions in the mind, and the mind has to be freed from so many emotions. Mind has to acquire some sattva guna. Mind has to attain some amount of calmness. So that is what is intended in this karma yoga. So this nitya karma is something which is oriented. Nitya karma actually includes, I did not mention what is this nitya karma, what are the compulsory things which have been told to a human being. What are compulsory things? For a nitya karma, they said sandhya vandanam. They said sandhya vandanam, in that there is what is called a chanting of Gayatri. Gayatri mantra. Of course, there are so many mantras. What is the speciality or uniqueness of this Gayatri mantra? Mantra, every mantra, suppose I talk about some Ganesha mantra or something like Vishnu, something like say Rudra. So there are so many mantras seeking so many benefits or boons from gods. But Gayatri is something which does not seek any boon, which does not seek any boon from the god. It only talks about the supreme reality which is there motivating behind you, behind your mind, which is there the motivating factor behind your mind. Dhiyaha yonah prachodayat. Dhiyo yonah prachodayat means that supreme consciousness which is activating our minds. We meditate on that. We meditate on that, and in order to, for what? In order to realize that we are not different from that. I am essentially the same as that. So that is the reason why that is a meditation. Actually, what is meant by Gayatri mantra is Gayatri Dhyanam, it is said, Gayatri Upasana, it is said. It is a sort of meditation for a spiritual toning up. So every day, 3 times a day, morning and in the afternoon and also in the evening, 3 times a day, a person is supposed to tone up. This is something which is not meant for Brahmins alone. Incidentally, I can tell that also. This is meant for all the people in the society. It is not meant for one group of people. In olden days, it was meant for Dvijas. Dvija means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Vaishya does not mean only traders, trading community. Vaishya meant all almost the 80% of the society, except some workers and cleaners, such people whom they at that time called Shudra. Now in the present changed situation, we have to remove that word Shudra at all, and everybody is called, can be called a Dvija, because only somebody who is a servant, only such person who has no initiative, who has no thinking capacity, only such person can be called a Shudra. Otherwise, there is no particular category, there is no particular caste like Shudra. So in olden days, of course, only servants, etc., such people were called that. And then all other people, which included about 80% or 90% of the society, all the people they were supposed to do the Sandhyavandan. That is meditating on the nature of one's own self. So that is the reason why it was a Nitya Karma. It is something which is a spiritual toning up, as I said. So this karma, all other karmas, they give result. There are innumerable activities in the life of a human being, and all these activities, they cannot give result in this life only. We are just thinking, now going to the next point called Karma Siddhanta, the doctrine of karma. What is this Karma Siddhanta which our tradition says? So not only our tradition, incidentally I can mention that half of the humanity, more than 50% of the people on the globe, they do believe in karma, they do believe in reincarnation, they believe in all this. How? That is because if you see all these Southeast Asian countries, all the Southeast Asian countries, or most of them, they are Buddhist countries. And Buddha, he might have say challenged the supremacy of the Vedas, but he accepted this Karma Siddhanta. Buddha accepted Karma Siddhanta, Jains accepted Karma Siddhanta, Sikhs accept it, then all other people, in Chinese there is what is called Confucianism, Taoism, all these people, whether Sikhs or Jains or Buddhists or Hindus, all these people who right up to Japan, all the Southeast Asian countries, they all accept the principle of karma and reincarnation. Only the Western countries, they don't accept, their religions they don't accept. In fact, history shows that earlier they were also accepting, but at some point of time when a new religion came, they stopped accepting this Karma Siddhanta. That's a different thing. So this karma phala, this karma is every karma or every activity is going to give some fruit, and that fruit cannot be given in one life itself. So because there are so many karmas, suppose somebody does a yajna. So the phalam, the fruit of that yajna is to go to heaven. Suppose Indra sends a vehicle, immediately come to heaven. Suppose there is a person who is performing a yajna. Suppose tomorrow, now we are having this Chandi Yagam, etc. A person, suppose he is performing some Chandi Yaga, and then suddenly some heavenly chariot comes and lands before him. And then 2 heavenly messengers, they come and then say, come sir, let us go to heaven. That Rambha or Urvashi is waiting for you. So this gentleman, he is not ready to leave immediately. This gentleman says, okay, no, I have got some responsibilities here, I have to settle my son, I have to settle my daughter, only then I can come. So people will not do anything if gods were to give immediate results. So the result is not something which is immediately promised. It is something which is there, and that result is called punya. Suppose you do some good deed, the result is called punya. For this punya, there is no equivalent word in English. For papam, there is an equivalent word. Papa is sin. For doing a sin, there is a, for papam is, suppose you do some bad act, you kill somebody or you do something else. So for that, there is what is called papam or sin. For punyam, unfortunately, there is no, I could not find any equivalent word in English. So anyway, this karma phala is there spread over several lives. It has to be. So that is the reason why this karma siddhanta is something which is accepted. Not only that, you see, there are certain activities which are punished by law. Suppose there is a thief. The thief can be caught by police and law punishes him. And where law punishes, that is the end of it, that is the justice is done. Then suppose there are some other things which law cannot punish. Suppose you do not do Sandhya Vandana, suppose you do not do your prayer, you don't respect your father, you don't respect your teacher or mother or somebody. Then you go and you spit, when you look at the teacher, you spit. So all these things, they are ethically bad conduct. Then who has to punish it? So for that, there is what is called a Dharma Shastra, which is for those which cannot be punished by law, which are out of the purview of law, there is Dharma Shastra takes care of it. Then Dharma Shastra says, no, this is something bad, and then this is something which is adding to your sin. It is a sinful conduct. So there are certain acts of commission and omission. So that is what they say. So this Dharma Shastra comes into operation. So this principle of this karma has been accepted. So if we see why this karma siddhanta is accepted, we can find some more reasons. That is, number one is the sense of justice. That is, a person does something and then he has to get the fruit of it. He does, suppose you go to office and work. Suppose you work well, you get a reward. You don't work well, you may take money and then you do something else, you get punishment. Suppose you swindle some money from the office, you get punishment. So there is what is called a reward and punishment in the world. So similarly, we have to think of some system of reward and punishment. So it is basically a principle of justice. Suppose somebody can say, oh no, you come to our God will take away all the sins, etc. That is a different thing. Then if the God is there to take away all the sins of all people, and then if he is there, if he wants to punish people who don't believe in him, there is not much difference between a God and suppose a faction leader. So God is not a faction leader. So this sense of justice is one thing. Then otherwise there can be a sort of irresponsible conduct. There can be an irresponsible conduct among people. Then there are other reasons like, for example, otherwise the diversity in nature. The one important reason is the diversity in creation. Somebody is born very, very rich. Somebody is born poor. Suppose you do not accept this karma doctrine, then how do you account for the fact that one is a very, very rich man, one is born in some kingly family, another is born in a very poor hut, or somebody is born a handsome person, somebody is born a very ugly person, somebody is physically fit, somebody is either lame or deaf or dumb or something like that, physically handicapped. So something like that. There is so much of disparity, there is so much of say inequality in the world. So how are you going to say account for the inequality? So you can't say, no, God is all powerful, God can do whatever he wants. It is okay, but then we have to say that God is partial to some people. God has given a lot of money to some people, God has not given money to some other people. Why should God do that? So you are attributing that God is partial to some people and then God is say unnecessarily and without reason punishing some people. God is not like that. God is supposed to be highly judicious. So in order to say that God is not somebody who is doing things at his own will, he will do things as per your karma. He is somebody who is a karma phala data. Our siddhanta says, our doctrine says, God is something which is karma phala data. That is, he gives the fruit of that karma phala. That is what is called, that is what we say Janardana. If you say Janardana, there is a funny meaning for that. Janan ardayati, Janan pidayati, he punishes people. Janardana is somebody who punishes people. Jana means people, Ardanam means punishing. Janardana is one who punishes people. How is he punishing people? That is, he is punishing bad people, he is not punishing all good people. Janardana means the God is there to punish the sinners. So, that is the meaning of that Janardana. So, to explain the disparity. So, that is what these are the reasons why various traditions, the Buddhists have accepted, Jains have accepted, all these traditions they have accepted this Karma Siddhanta. So, this is one thing which we have to see. And then one important thing which we have to note is that Karma Siddhanta does not mean fatalism. There is a word called fatalism. Oh, it is all my fate, I can't do anything. It is in my fate, I can't do anything. It is not fatalism. We have to, one important point we have to remember is Karma Siddhanta is totally different from fatalism. There is, in English there are two words called fatalism and determinism. Determinism and free will rather. So, fatalism is to say something happens, suppose, oh, it is my karma, and we say it is my karma also. Karma is not there in Telugu, in Sanskrit. In Telugu we use the word karma, but then the actual word is karma. Oh, this is my fate, we say. It is not exactly the fate. You see, I will explain what exactly is the amount of say determinism and the amount of free will. It is only up to the point of a person's birth. Suppose a person is born in some family. We are going to see some slokas in the 6th chapter also, that a person who is in the path of yoga and then who has not yet realized, and then halfway through he dies, what happens to him? So, he is born in a good family, he is born in a good environment where he will pursue his say meditation, he will pursue his say sadhana further. Sadhana means seeking. So, he will be born in a particular environment which is very, very conducive for his upward movement. So, that is what Gita says. So, like that, this up to the point of birth only, this determinism is there. Determinism is your past action, your depending on your past action and all that, when the say the subtle body, the mind and the sense organs, they transmigrate to another body. In fact, I told about it in the last episode, and this is called the subtle body. In fact, I should have used that word also, subtle body. This subtle body is the mind and the baggage, the entire storehouse of impressions and the 5 senses also. This whole thing is called the subtle body, and also the prana, the energy body. So, these things they transmigrate to another body, and then the mind only chooses another body depending on its own past impressions and all that. So, that is how it goes. So, that is the reason why only up to that point there is determinism, in the sense that you are born in a particular place only because of some particular karma. Then thereafter the man has a free will. That is the reason why there are so many shastras. Otherwise, there is no point teaching Gita, there is no point reading some Dharma Shastra, there is no point say sending a person to say school or anything like that, because the Shastra is there only to say that okay, you may be in a particular position, but you can get out of it, you can really progress. So, that is the purpose of Shastra. Otherwise, a person will say, okay, this is my fate, I am like this, I can't progress. Shastra will not say like that. You are free to choose your action. A human being is free to choose your action. So, that is the reason why Shastra is there. Shastra says this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is something which has to be done. So, you are free to choose your action. Then by good deeds, you can actually neutralize your past karma, your past bad results. Suppose you do good deeds now, and then the past karma, the past bad karma, whatever is there, that can be neutralized. That is what it says, punyena papam apanudati. By doing some punya karma, the papam can be say neutralized. That again it says. And then this Karma Siddhanta is also accepted to encourage some good conduct in the society. Otherwise, there will be irresponsible conduct. In fact, when we were children, when we were going to school, we used to take some small stones, pebbles, and then throw at some small animals. And then somebody else would say, at least somebody would say, no, in the next Janma, that is going to hit a stone on you. So don't do that. In the next Janma, that particular lizard, it will hit you. So then we used to stop. So like that, it is there built into our psyche that we should not do a bad thing. We should not even harm an animal. That animal, suppose you are hitting that dog now, the dog in the next Janma will hit back. So whether it is true or not, it is something which is instilled, which is there, is put into your mind that you are not supposed to do a bad karma. So this is basically to encourage some good activity in society. So for various reasons, this karma is accept karma doctrine. And the karma doctrine, the corollary of karma doctrine is punarjanma, because in one janma, in one life, all the results cannot be experienced in one life. So you have to take another birth, you have to take another birth and another karma. Again you do some action, again the result. So it goes on eternally like that. So if it goes on eternally like that, that is what is called bondage. So karma bandham prahasyasi, when Krishna says karma bandham, that is exactly what he means. That is what he means by karma bandham. So then how to get rid of this karma bandham? So now we have to see what Krishna is saying about karma bandham, how to get rid of this karma bandham. So he says, this karma, when this karma phala is inevitable, and when there is this eternal cycle of janma and karma, you do karma and then again another janma. So it is like that. How to escape from that? Because a human being always wants to escape. In fact, this escape from this karma bandha is what is called a liberation. We talk about moksha, everything. Moksha does not mean going and sitting in some heaven. So in the beginning, probably I told in this series that in our system, in the Indian thought, moksha is something which is different from heaven. Normally in religions, what do they say? Normally in religion they say, okay, you believe, you trust our God, you have belief in our God, God will take you to heaven. And what is there in heaven? Heaven is there. There are a nice place where you get a nice drink, where you have some damsels to dance with. So that is what is the end of it. But in our sense, it is not like that. So in religious level, suppose a person goes to karma, a person goes to heaven, then what is the speciality? It is something like a big casino. Heaven is like a big casino where you have a free check, and then you can do anything, and then you can enjoy anything. But then your mind is intact. Your mind with all its greed, ambition, hate, love, etc., all these things is intact. Whereas moksha, our concept of moksha is totally different. Moksha says, first of all, you have to get rid of all these things from the mind. Your mind has to be totally pure. Once the mind is totally rid of all our say dirt, the chitta malam it is called, all the dirt called love, hate, anger, greed, etc., 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 so many qualities, good and bad, all the things, they have to be cleaned. The mind has to be totally pure. The mind has to be only having some pure thoughts in it. So that is what is needed for liberation, and that itself is not enough. After that, you have to listen to this Vedanta. You have to understand that you are not different from that Supreme Self. Realizing that one is not different from that Supreme Self is what is called liberation. So this is liberation. There is a big difference between moksha and swarga. Swarga is a nice casino. Moksha is, there is nothing in it. There is no casino, there is no going to a place, it is only a realization. Sitting in your house, sitting in your room, sitting at your desk, you are a realized person. So that is what is the difference between these two. We will continue what Krishna is going to say about this karma yoga, because this karma yoga is a very important thing. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.